Hey there, good afternoon. It's 3:04 p.m. It is the 4th of July, Thursday afternoon. I hope you guys are enjoying your 4th of July. Of course, some of you guys, well, yeah, hey, it's a federal holiday. Some of you guys aren't even working, so I hope you're enjoying the entire day and eating some like really cool snacks and having fun and playing out in the sprinklers or your swimming pool and all that other good stuff. So anyway, I was doing some thinking. Did not sleep very well last night. I started to experience another trauma related issue. Okay, so I woke up a few different times last night in the middle of the night. And then earlier today, I did some meditating and got some downloads. And I kept thinking, okay, when I get like that, it's very difficult because my goal every day is to get up and write content, work on something. I'm okay. I'm going to tell you, I like to work. I'm a workaholic. Okay, that's not everybody who's worked with me knows that's how I am. Okay, so when my sleep gets interrupted and when I start getting downloads because I'm dealing with past trauma issues, they have to be worked out. Now remember, Maria has to be everything to herself. She does not have the ability to go get psychiatric help. She doesn't have the ability, I certainly would never rely on the medical system. So all Maria has is herself, okay? So Maria sometimes has to take some time for herself, kind of hold herself and figure out what the heck's going on before she moves on to do something else, okay? So I kept thinking, okay, I know there's so much that happened in the last few, I would say, the last few months with this big reveal about people who were involved in this and all that other stuff, okay? But what it was yesterday, or was it 2 days ago, I had made an announcement that I am now on Ko-fi, right? I think it's how you pronounce it, like coffee, but it's Ko-fi, whatever. Anyway, I had changed platforms, okay? And I finally closed out my platform, I think it was yesterday or the day before, okay? And so when I started thinking about it, I understood the risks that were involved because I do not know if I had paying customers over at the other platform, Patreon, or not. Unfortunately, when you are a targeted individual, people are going to infiltrate and they're going to get involved in your stuff without you wanting to. Okay, this is a part of the program, is for them to do a lot of invasive stuff, shocking stuff, things that are going to traumatize you because they dehumanize you and think that they are entitled to your things. Okay, now from what I understand is, I believe, does this make sense to you? Okay, I seriously want this to be put into perspective. Okay, C.V. Braganza has always been, in the 19th centuries, he had a great mail order company. Okay, so obviously now I'm the reincarnation of C.V. Braganza. And it only makes sense that I'm going to be, doing work in the occult. Let me tell you something. When back in 2008, when I opened my first YouTube channel ever, I cannot tell you how rapidly my channel was growing. And the reason why is because I believe that people knew my history. Okay, so it's not that I am not somebody who's going to get attention. I am the occult authority. It makes sense. These people knew I was the occult authority. That's the reason why I had so many people, I think, coming to my channel, right? So it doesn't make sense for me not to have any customers. Now, I know that Libra 14 was involved in this. And see, what I was triggering about is that I feel as though that was a threat on my life. Well, I ended up having to close my account because, here's the thing with this group of people that have been targeting me, okay? They have serious mental problems and they have this sick sense of entitlement that they start acting on stuff that they shouldn't be acting on, okay? So I kept thinking, I'm going to go ahead. I made the announcement. I said, do not touch my new platform. I need to get things straightened out with Patreon, because I kept thinking, okay, if I have two different platforms open, what they're going to end up doing is they're going to sit here and try, you know what I mean? I just wanted to say, okay, now I'm making a statement. I'm going to Ko-fi. I'm starting all over again. I already said goodbye to you, whatever. So I closed out Patreon, right? So if any of you guys are paying customers of Patreon, okay, I want you to reach out to them. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I'm tired of dealing this. The reason why I realized that I was having trauma, waking up a couple times last night, is because I feel as though these people abuse me to the point of where, um, it just, them harassing me in the workplace. Then Justin Hayward coming in and taking over my Patreon account. The thing is, he had no right to even be near it in the first place. And so that right there already put it so that I will never trust him. Okay? And the fact that I personally think that I did make money on Patreon, right? But unfortunately, because I was targeted, I don't really want to know. And I could know, okay? I don't want to know. You know why? Because it's going to make me angry. It's going to terrorize me even more. Because this was an act of terrorism. And if it, okay, let's just say, for example, there was no money, okay? That you know, I was being targeted, but, and yeah, they were involved, but they didn't touch my money, right? If that's the case, it's still wrong, okay? But because this was a religious issue, and because if he did taking my money, or they were withholding my money for religious issues, this is going to be an act of terrorism, okay? So this is the reason why I was very concerned about it, and this is the reason why I kept waking up having trauma, waking up in sweat, because this, to me, if you take a person's money who was in my situation after dealing with everything that I dealt with, okay, this man watched me lose my car. This man watched me have my credit wrecked, okay, and he was trying to force me into Christianity, okay, and if I didn't accept his Christian shit, then this what man thinks he's entitled to take my money off of the stuff that he's telling me that I'm wicked for doing. He's fine with taking my money off the occult, right? But see, does this make any sense? And no, I am not a wicked person. But you see what I'm saying? The point I'm trying to make is that if this man did what he did, and if somebody has my money and they're not supposed to, then I expect to cause some sort of issue. Why? Because I'm not going to let this man get away with his shit. Now, I have moved on to that, but the thing is, it's like I feel as though I've dealt with entirely too many injustices. And that's why I was waking up in the middle of the night. This is the reason why I started, kind of talking. I'm trying to talk myself, down, because I realized how much this man had did it to me. This man was trying to wake me off the face of the planet, and it's all very hypocritical. Because, like I said, if you guys are paying customers of Patreon, okay, and I'm going to tell you right now, I never saw 1 cent of your money since I opened up my Patreon account in October. Not 1 cent. Okay, so if this is true, and like I said, if it's true, if there was money generated, right, and Justin Hayward wasn't just kind of just keeping quiet and whatever, and took my money, then he needs to be held accountable. And whatever. Hopefully the dude's dead by now. But the point is that that's an act of terrorism. Okay, and it's an act of hypocrisy as well, because if he thought what I was doing was so bad, why would he want to touch my dirty money? You see what I'm saying? My money's not dirty. I did want to kind of go over some different things that were going through my mind. I realize now that who C.B. Berganza was, right? He was somebody who played a huge role in the New Thought movement. I believe he was the founder of the New Thought movement. The reason why I believe this is because when I'm looking at the dates, this is what I'm getting confirmation of. And what I find amazing about this issue is that many of these people that, like, for example, Ellen White and all these other people that I had mentioned before, roll off my tongue since I was a kid, right? It's funny. I remember talking to Steve Murray. Now, Steve Murray belonged to a religious organization called Science of Mind, right? And he was shocked when I said, I know who the founder of that is. I said, that's Ernest Holmes. And he was like, what? Why do you know who that is? I said, yes, I do know who that was. I know these people because these are the people that ripped me off. Okay? These are the people who took my information, my philosophy, and transformed it into what they call Christ consciousness. Okay? Because they didn't want me to get any credit for my own work. And see, this is what the whole issue was with this group that was a part of this entourage that kidnapped me into their entourage. Like I had mentioned in my video yesterday, you don't have to be physically kidnapped these days. When everything is done online, all right, they can keep you captive online. Okay, they can surround you on Facebook. They can surround you with their own people on YouTube or whatever. Okay, in this case, I was a part of this network that I didn't want to be in. Made it very clear I didn't want to be in. Now, maybe Justin Hayward thought that I was going to want to be in his network because he was Justin Hayward. I don't care who the fuck you are. You're not gonna fucking take my money and think it's okay. Okay, but whatever the case is, you know, I'm saying is that, you know, if there is, and if there's people who are paying for my work, which I believe there is, I'm going to tell you why. Because, like I said, I'm the occult authority. People knew who I was before, and these accusations against me for the longest period of time has been proven false. So it's not like my name was associated with any more rumors by the time I found out I was CB Braganza. Okay, so if there's money on Patreon and I ended up walking away from it, right? Because I still need to move on. I still need to move on. Okay, then this man deserves to have hell. This man didn't give this man hell. I don't believe he's here of the living anymore. I don't believe that he's on earth anymore. Okay, because I don't feel his consciousness or anything. Okay, but give this man hell if he hasn't. If what happened just happened, because that's my money. Okay, now anyway, there's been people who have benefited from this man, CB Berganza, all my life. Okay, and they are so disgusting and relentless about it. Like, you know, the trauma issue 1. Okay, I realize that I'm the kind of person that is going to attract leeches. Okay, and this man, I'm not going to call him Libra 14 anymore. Fuck it. His name is Justin Hayward. I've been saying it already. Whatever. Justin Hayward was leeching on to me. Okay, now thinking that he had some sort of right to control my career. He does not. He does not. Okay, and you know, the fact that he was trying to force me into something that I didn't want to do, that really, you know, and then the fact that he felt as though he could just pocket my shit or have any kind of control in it over it whatsoever, and the fact that he was working alongside the girl who was causing me problems at my last job. So, like I said, okay, now this, like I said, if for example, you know, there was no money generated from Patreon, okay, move on, right? But if not, this, you know, I would appreciate your support also, because like I said, I have not received one dime of the money that I made at all. Okay, as CB Braganza, the occult authority has not made one dime off my money since October. So something seems a little weird to me. Also, in fact, if there is no money involved, then I can pretty much guarantee that someone's blocking me who has no right to. Okay, and I understand that this whole thing started off as a religious issue. I have the right to do what I want. Okay, and it's not about rebellion. I started to think about what exactly was it about the New Thought movement that pissed people off, that made these Christian people do everything that Jesus certainly would not do. Okay, was the fact that the New Thought movement brought enlightenment, and it made people aware of some of the barbaric things that they would do. Okay, for example, beating women. Okay, now believe it or not, people used to think that was a pretty normal thing. When people would get like upset with their wives and stuff like that, there were actually magazines and shit, right, that suggested disciplining your wives in this kind of manner. Okay, now I would think that some people started thinking, okay, I don't have to fucking feel like this anymore. I shouldn't have to do this. I'm a person. I have rights. You know what I mean? Same thing. I don't know. I don't think I, you know, inspired the suffrage movement, because that's the movement that, you know, back in the 19th century where women wanted to vote. Okay, and I've never got into voting or politics or anything like that. Okay, but still, okay, what women wanted at that time is they wanted to be able to somehow release themselves from the oppression that they were experiencing. Okay, and so that was a new idea that I think a lot of what they call Christian men felt uncomfortable with. Okay, but the point of it is a lot of marriages were based on kind of predator and prey, where women were like the prey, like they didn't have any fucking control over the shit that happened to them. You know. Anyway, long story short, CB Braganza was an intelligent black man. And just like me, as Maria Gordon, I myself have experienced racism, dealing with people who kind of seem taken aback when I open my mouth because they're not used to seeing a person of color speak with confidence and know what they're talking about. So I can imagine poor CB Braganza and the nightmare that he had to live through as a black man. Okay, because I know that people would lynch people for whatever reason. I remember my grandmother telling a story. Well, I didn't. She didn't actually tell me the story. She told my dad the story, and then my dad told me about a black boy looking at a white girl. So what they had to do was they had to string him up and shoot him till his body dropped dead. Like his body literally disconnected from his head, just because he even looked at her in her direction. Okay, so there's a lot of things that went on back then. Okay, so I know that C.B. Berganza was a target of that continuously. So they mocked him, took his ideas, took his philosophy, marketed his philosophy, and left this man in a situation. I believe that C.B. Berganza mostly created most of his work and sold mostly probably to the black community. That was probably the bulk of his customers, okay? But do I believe that people got hold of his work? Because he did most of his stuff through mail order. People could spy on his work. People could get information on what he's creating. He also published his own stuff, just like I do my own stuff, right? So people copycatted him. And then they developed his own stuff. And then I can tell you that the article that I read that was written back in the 1930s about him, that was all about trying to make him look bad in front of people. Because what he was trying to do, it looks like, C.B. Berganza had a lot of plans, and unfortunately, he never let his color be a limitation to him. So he still kept going forward. But these people who were in power kept knocking him down. So I understand what this was about. When this issue became about, it was a religious issue, unfortunately, somebody thought it was an okay thing. It was a thoughtless thing to bring up, let's us be in a fight over religion. Okay? That is something you do not do, especially on American soil. Why? Because it's a form of terrorism. Okay? So, like I said, if Justin Hayward was associated with my money being taken, and I didn't get my money, mind you. Okay? I have not made 1 cent since I started working. Since I opened up that account. So, if he took it as a Christian that he claims to be, then it's an act of terrorism. Okay? So, this goes, and like I said, if this is not true, because I really fucking don't want to know. I do not want to sit here and know, because it will just fucking, I already am at a point where I just can't take it anymore. It's traumatizing to me. It's traumatizing that somebody would terrorize a person. This is a form of terrorism anyway, and then take somebody's money after I've already lost my job, after you knew good and well what happened to C.B. Berganza. That dude's crazy, is what he is. Okay, so anyway, I do understand that C.B. Berganza was very rich in knowledge. Now, mind you, C.B. Berganza's ancestor is Solomon, King Solomon. Okay, so King Solomon was noted and for his what? His wisdom. This is one of the reasons why I make fucking awesome decisions. Okay, and I understand. I am not saying that I should be. I get a lot of people saying, you should be a leader. I hear this a lot on like YouTube videos. And the things intuitive readings, good and well, they're for you. They're for me. I know what they're talking about. And most people have always thought of me as a leader. Okay? But like I said, I'm very turned off by politics, and I really try to do my best to stay out of it. But I am going to be creating my own, another half of the Swan Song Manifesto, meaning I'm going to be talking about my beliefs, okay? And I probably will be selling it as an audiobook, like a spoken word type thing. I think that's the easiest way to get it done. I don't know how exactly to go about that. The reason why is because right now I already have a platform. I have Ko-fi, right? I don't know if I can have two. I think you can have 2 Ko-fi accounts, and then I would probably just offer it at a discount, at a one right price, and share it with the public. That's what I'm thinking about doing. Today, I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about some issues, because when I was thinking about what is it about the New Thought movement, why? Okay, I understand the real reason why people wanted to hurt me is because I was black. They hated the fact that I had so much intellect. I had so much, I don't know what you want to call it. I just seem to be put together, okay? And for a black person, that is very, people find that threatening, right? And so back in the days of Jim Crow, they would lynch black people. They would deny black people certain rights. Like I was talking about Sears and Roebuck. in one of my videos a couple days ago, how sometimes, white people would treat black people in this country. It hasn't changed, really. That's the reason why, people like Justin Hayward could go in and sit here and like think that he has some sort of right over somebody's money. Oh, I'm never gonna stop talking shit about that motherfucker. Ever. Anyway, so a couple days ago I made a video and I was talking about, I think it was in the same video too. I was denouncing my association with this political and the celebrity group, and I basically said it's not for me. Meaning, I know this group, I got sucked into, oh gosh, this is what terrifies me so much. What happened, their actions that they took against me caused me severe trauma. Okay? Because like I said, I don't expect that to happen to me on American soil. And I also think the fact that I was like using logic and reason the entire time, and they still kept coming after me. They still thought it was an okay thing to do. They still kept enacting their shit out on me. And I kept saying I didn't want to be a part of it. I don't want to be a part of it. Okay, so when I think about the issue of Patreon, right? When I think about the issue of Patreon, this is the reason why. In my brain, while I was laying down, the whole thought process just started regurgitating. And the fact that somebody can do that, that's the biggest act of terrorism you can ever do, is take somebody's resources. Okay, so like I said, if you are a content creator, you need to be very careful about where you place your content. If that's true, okay? And if I am proven wrong, which I'm not going to take anybody's word for it. Eventually, the reason why, because I know there's a lot of people who want to lie. They want to lie. What Justin Hayward was trying to do, at the instructions of certain people who he was influenced by, he was trying to convert me into Christianity, is what he was trying to do. And a lot of times people use this excuse of Christian marriages, scriptural marriage, or a kingdom spouse type thing, to where they try to make it sound godly. And if it's godly, then this is one of their ways, it's a form of propaganda to have other people assist them. This is the reason, this is the biggest issue with people who try to use religion to create some sort of sway in the public domain. So this is how it ended up happening. They vilified me to help this person, right? Now, when it comes to marriage, people think that I'm anti-marriage. And I was thinking this through. Okay, I don't ever want to get married, and the reason why is because I think I made this very clear. And I know a lot of people didn't believe me when this whole thing started. When I started making videos, people were like, "Yeah, you do. Of course you do." And they're looking at people that I didn't know that these people were involved in it, but they were celebrities, right? They're like, "Of course you're gonna want a celebrity. Of course you do." No, I fucking goddamn don't. Not if somebody's going to sit here and abuse me, okay? And the reason why I don't want to get married is because, people like me, the odd type people, the oddballs, okay? I am worth a lot of money when you think about it, okay? So you get these men such as Justin Hayward, they know that I can put together something good. So they insist on collaborating with me so that they could use me for my financial resources, which is what I think that Justin Hayward did, okay? Like I said, and the thing is, the reason why I'm bringing it up is to make this very clear to people who hear this. You do not touch my resources. You do not touch and associate yourself with things that do belong to me. I don't care what you think or why you think it's okay. It's not okay. Okay, and if you have to pay with your life, then I guess that's what you're going to have to fucking goddamn do. Okay, because I would love to fucking see that happen. It pisses me off. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm in a very pissed off mood right now. Okay, and it needs to come out because I don't have anybody. You know what I mean? I don't have one decent, respectable, honest person in my life who is not brainwashed, who has not been affected by this experiment, who can think straight, not dualistically, but can think straight with a full fucking functioning mind. And this is one of the things I recognize in society. This is why I stay the fuck out of it. Now, I was thinking about this whole issue about reincarnation, universal law, cloning, vessels, magic, whatever. Okay? And this is one of the reasons why they had an issue with C.B. Braganza. Okay? The reason why they had an issue with C.B. Braganza is because he was opening the eyes to a lot of people. Not because he was protesting. I never once, like I said, not in this life or in the next life, did I ever say, you should get out of your church, you should reject Jesus Christ. I never said anything like that. I have the right to believe what I want to believe. And apparently a lot of other people believe that stuff too. Okay? It's not like I twisted people's arm It's just something that, it makes sense. When you start thinking about it, it makes fucking sense. All right? Now, in the article about C.B. Berganza, the guy who was trying to discredit him, he himself was an occultist, right? And it's funny because he described C.B. Berganza as the weirdest person he ever met. Okay? But what you don't understand is that just goes to show you that that dude was a poser. Because if you know about the occult, unfortunately, you're going to be weird. So my weirdness should not have thrown him off at all. Poser. Anyway, so let's get back to this reincarnation thing. I was thinking about some of these religions and their ideas and where they come from. And I know that Jehovah's Witnesses started off somewhere around that same time, okay? They are not necessarily part of the New Thought movement, okay? I would say that the Jehovah's Witnesses were, like many other Christian denominations at that time, okay, were highly inspired by the Freemasons, okay, little by little, okay, and so maybe not as obvious as some religions, like I know certain like rituals that the Mormons do are very, very Masonic in nature, but some of the ideas of like the Jehovah's Witnesses is based on some sort of Freemason ideology, okay. Now, I was thinking about a girl I used to know that I'm starting to believe was a clone back in Lancaster. And I do know that Jehovah's Witnesses do believe in a new earth, okay? And the Jehovah's Witnesses are not the only ones who believe in a new earth, okay? And how that new earth is brought about for Jehovah's Witnesses seems a little bit, catastrophic, meaning like, they talk about Armageddon coming, destruction, whatever, okay? But I'm starting to believe, though, that this girl was a clone. I personally think that Charles Taze Russell, when he was talking about the new earth, do I believe that he was did it have something to do with clones? I think that, yeah, it does. But the people who are the Jehovah's Witnesses who attend the Kingdom Hall don't necessarily know that. Okay, but the originators, do I believe that they know that they're talking about clones? Yes, I do. I do believe that. That's how they were going to do it, because the whole idea behind Jehovah's Witnesses is that, their afterlife was painted a little different. Where most people believe they go to heaven, in the Jehovah's Witness belief, only a certain amount of people go to heaven. Okay, but the majority of people come back on a new earth, a place that's like run tight. You know what I mean? What you might run tight is like, there is really very little sin that goes on. But I do believe that in order for that to happen, according to their vision, that would have to be like a new earth would have to be brought about by the cloning system. I was like, man, that's a trip. Okay, but that is not in any way saying that endorsing Jehovah's Witnesses or anything. I'm just saying is a lot of people, what I was thinking about the dualistic thinking of people, like for example, me and Amanda were hung out a lot, okay? She was my friend. She was a Jehovah's Witness, right? But she was extremely brainwashed. Because she's sitting here talking to somebody who is reincarnated. And now that I think about it, do I think that Amanda knew who I was when she first met me? I think she did. So how is it that she could believe one ideology, but me sitting in front of her, I am living proof that what she believes is wrong? How does that happen? Brainwashing, okay? But yeah. So anyway, okay. Now, I also made a statement yesterday about me. I need time to focus, and I need time to get in the right frame of mind, okay? And this entourage that I was unfortunately associated with uses a lot of manipulative tactics that end up traumatizing me further. Like they were insisting on sticking around me. They were insisting on forcing me to do things only when they were good and ready, or they want to try to get time so they can manipulate another movement or have me do whatever. And I'm like, okay, no more. I don't want to do it anymore. Okay. There was a time where when I was over at sending my videos up on Patreon, I was like, okay, you know what? As soon as I start making money, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to reach out to some of these celebrities and start asking them, do they want to interview? Do they want to do some sort of collaboration projects? And this is what I really wanted to do, right? Okay, well, they played around with me, played around with me, played around with me. I'm referring to Jackie and Eddie Ramula, who helped Justin Hayward do all of this stuff along with this group. I'm throwing the name out there because, you know, we're talking about money. We're talking about my stuff. While I'm sitting here suffering, my credit's ruined, and I have no fucking car. Not that I really care about my car, really, to be honest with you, because I stopped driving anyway. But still, it's the point of the fact that I'm 53 years old, and I have been doing everything I possibly can to make sure that my credit is pristine, okay? And we have these people doing something like that after tormenting me and torturing me in their workplaces, okay? And so this act of terrorism kind of shocked me a little bit. But aside from all of that, when it comes to the celebrities, right now, I don't want people manipulating my shit, okay? I want to make it very clear to people who think that they can do what Justin Hayward just did, okay? You get near my money, you get near the things that I am a woman all by myself, okay? And how Justin Hayward could sit here and watch me lose my car, let me have my credit wrecked, okay, knowing that I committed suicide as Stevie Berganza, okay, how he could sit here and watch me struggle, okay, and watch my son have to sacrifice his life, okay, to take care of his mother when I should be self-sufficient, okay? Justin Hayward is a goddamn demon, okay? A terrorist on top of that, okay? So, I am in no position right now. I'm sorry, I went off the subject because obviously I'm going to tell you what I'm going through right now. Okay, so when it comes to me reaching out to other celebrities, the answer is I'm putting that on the back burner. Why? Because I need to start making money. Okay, I am only going to feel good about my situation until I start making money. Okay, and I don't want people thinking, okay, well, I want to manipulate her in this way, and I'm going to bring in this. No, you fucking goddamn will not. Do not sit here and try to force a marriage on me ever again. Ever again. Okay? I do not want to deal with it. This is one of the reasons why I'm waking up in sweats and everything else. I need to make money and make sure that I can cover my goddamn rent and start making some money without people thinking that they're going to help me or people trying to strategize a plan to get back in my energy. No. No. Okay? I understand some of these people with titles, you know, think that, okay, what they're doing is appropriate. No, it is not. According to the law, what you're doing is an act of terrorism. This is not supposed to, this government is not supposed to touch certain things, okay? So, let me explain something. I am not going to be reaching out to anybody until I start making money. I need to cover my rent. I need to pay my fucking car payments, okay? Which makes sense, okay? Now, part of my philosophy is I believe in self-sufficiency. Okay, I don't believe what the majority of other people believe. And that's fine if people want to let their kids take care of them. There's nothing wrong with their kids saying, hey, you know what, Mom, I love you, I got your back. That's wonderful. I'll tell you right now, I have my son's back. You better believe I have my son's back. Okay, but I'm also realistic. We only have so much time on this earth. Okay, and I want my son to do and enjoy his life the best way he possibly can. So by people fucking manipulating and puppeteering their shit like they always do, they come in and they fuck up my life all the time. And this group has cared absolutely nothing about the psychological problems that they created and I have to live with. Not only the psychological problems, they sit there and they cause the financial problems as well. Okay? And this is what they pride themselves on. It's sick and it's twisted. Anyway, no, I am not. Until I need to make money, people know who I am. I can make my own content. I need to make money before I reach out to anyone. And that's the way it's going to be. Okay, and I also want to say it's important that I've been seeing a lot of people's pictures like filtering in on my Facebook and my social media, which is one of the reasons why I've been avoiding it. Why? Because deep down inside, I am not okay with people grinning up in my fucking face when they know what they did. I am not fucking comfortable with it at all. Okay, so don't think that you can sit here and grin in my face knowing that you fucking robbed me, okay? And even if there was no money involved, the very fact that you insisted on forcing an issue on me that was terrorizing me, and you let this man do what he did. So you want me to see you and you want me to see your fucking picture? No, I fucking blocked that shit. I ain't gonna look at you. Be real about this. You know what I mean? It's like, you put yourself in my shoes. No, I'm not reaching out to anyone. Anyway, I am a solitary powerhouse, meaning I work on my own. I'm inspired by myself. I only need myself. Meaning, but I understand that I do want to work with other celebrities. Why? Because there's certain celebrities that I think are fucking cool. There are certain celebrities that I think. So the Swan Song Manifesto is about my last hands, my last time on this filthy fucking planet. This is about my fucking project. Okay, and I want to go out the way I want to fucking go out. And there's certain people I want in my fucking project, and there's certain people I don't want in my project, and that's the way it is. Okay, and so I need to build that up myself because I believe that in order for me to work with a celebrity, I should be able to offer them compensation. One of my things is I do not believe in, okay, because I had to work for companies that create a sense of demoralization. I do not ever want to work or make a person feel demoralized. They deserve to be paid and compensated for their time. Okay? And the problem with it is that I had a network who wanted and insisted on enforcing their ideas to my business model, my Swan Song Manifesto, my message of saying goodbye to the world. How fucking dare you? You had no right to step into that arena. Okay? So my thing is that, I'm not okay with that. And so the reason why I'm making this video is because the trauma is real. That's why it's keeping me up at night. This is one of the reasons why I spent almost 3 hours ranting in my room where no one else can hear me except for me. Okay? It has caused me severe mental illness. And the problem with it is this was just an experiment because these people were sick. I dealt with, this is a cult. This is the kind of cult behavior that the law writes about fanatical people coming in and doing shit like this. Terrorist attacks. Anyway, there's a lot of people right now who are talking and reconsidering the issue of marriage. Now, I don't want to get married, mainly because I am not going to be somebody's doormat. Justin Hayward thought that I could be a doormat, and he had people help him with this little plan, walking right over me. And he has nothing to offer me except for fucking problems, okay? But he wants to sit here and put in his 2 cents worth about what I fucking do. None of your fucking business, okay? And if you got my money, fuck you, and I hope somebody kills your ass. Also, let's see, I thought he was dead already, but whatever. When it comes to marriage, okay, when it comes to marriage, I understand kids should have a decent home, and they should be well adjusted, and ideally, it was nice to have as much love and as much support as you possibly can. It would be great if you had 2 wonderful parents who were there to support you. Sometimes that doesn't always happen. Okay, but when I think about marriage and the responsibility of marriage, I know what marriage is. It's an institution. It means, the financial support, being stuck with somebody that you're supposed to be with through thick and thin. And I'm going to tell you what, there is no way in the world that I could love anybody like Justin Hayward who would treat me like that. Okay? No fucking way. But when it comes to marriage, it's like, okay, I was thinking about me. The instability of my life, okay? Let's just say, for example, how marriages are, okay? They're designed to where, a long time ago, they were designed, like my dad paid all the bills, okay? He was the worker, and my mom stayed home and took care of the kids. That was the old marriage, okay? Or even if it was a new marriage, I look at my life and I'm thinking, okay, if I was a young person, would I consider marriage understanding that, number one, your job is not secure? Whose job is secure nowadays? Very few people. Okay? Most people don't work more than 2 years. And believe me, they have it designed so these days where if you're out of work, you're going to be out of work until they fucking say you can get a job. Okay? Which makes me think that's bullshit and against the law, but a lot of people's lives are controlled in that manner. Okay? So why would I want to take on that responsibility? Which at that point would be a burden. Now don't get me wrong, kids are cute. I love seeing little chubby-faced kids, especially when they're eating. They're so flippin' cute. They are cute. They say cute things. They do cute things. They're just adorable, right? But the sad part is that, there's so much burden here, okay? You got to go to work to a place where, your job is always unstable, okay? You always got some problem with your management, people being unprofessional, getting bullied at work. You don't really have any certainty or any guarantees, right? But you got this kid you got to take care of. And you have to believe me, these people, when I was raising my son, I had the worst time. Okay, they made my life a living hell when it didn't have to be. Okay, this is one of the reasons why I'm like, I don't want to be a part of this group. Okay, they took too many years of my life. I'm telling you from experience, these people took way too much out of my life. Okay, If you are a young person right now, okay, and you're looking at the job market, do you want to take on another responsibility like that? Are you able to do that? Because I'm going to tell you what, if you end up like being with another person, it's one thing to be miserable while you're by yourself. You can somewhat handle it, okay? But when you're married, that person's constantly looking at you to resolve the problem, adding more pressure to you, okay? You can barely afford to feed your own self, and now you got another person to take care of. Now, I'm not sitting here trying to poo-poo marriage. I'm looking at the realistic side of it, okay? Marriage is expensive, okay? And if that person, you guys decide to get divorced and somebody's vindictive about it, they can take all your shit in the state of California, or pretty much close to all of it. So I'm just saying, okay, there's nothing wrong with wanting to have a stable family foundation. Okay, that's a beautiful thing. If you have a family that truly respects and loves each other and sees the value of that support system, that's the ideal thing that you could. Everybody fucking wants that. I wanted a family too. You know what I mean? Everybody fucking wants a family. But the sad reality of it is, nowadays, kids are a fucking luxury. Okay, in order to have well-adjusted children who number one, are eating properly, a good nutrition costs money. Taking care of them costs money. They need braces, that costs money. They need, whatever. Something gets wrong with them, they need it corrected. They need tutoring, they need this, they need all these sort of things. They need to develop their skills, they need all this sort of thing. If that is too overwhelming for you, okay, there is no shame in saying, you know what, I don't need to get married. And nobody sit here and try to sit here and make you feel bad about it. And I understand, when I was younger, if you said you didn't want to get married, you were the villain. You're like, God, you don't want to get married. I remember my sister Tanya would sit here and come up and say stupid stuff like, that's selfish. That's selfish. No, it's wise, okay? Because I'm already suffering. I'm not trying to sit here and make someone else suffer. You know what I mean? And you can look at it however you want to, okay? But stop, I don't think it's a wise thing to vilify people for making those sort of choices. Because some people have really thought it out, and I thought it out. You know what I mean? My life has been a living hell because I was associated with this network that basically kidnapped me into their network and would not let me go. Okay? I wasted my entire life in this system. Okay? I'm telling you from experience. Okay? Things cost money. And children are beautiful, right? But you put people in situations where their job is sitting there, they're messing with your job and everything. A lot of people, they don't mean to, but they end up abusing their kids. Okay, and thank goodness I never struck my kid out of any sort of selfish impulse or anything like that. But there's a way entirely too much stress for people just to sit here and think, oh, I'm just going to go get married willy-nilly, or it's just the thing to do. See, some people they think, oh, I'm like hitting 20 something. It's about time for me to get married. Why do you think that? Why? You know you can't afford it. Why? All I'm saying is think about what you do before you get into a situation and you really get into problems. Now you got another person into, your issue. You can hardly fucking eat. Now you bring a kid into it. I mean, it snowballs from there. Okay? So all I'm saying is, make wise decisions. Anyway. I know that a lot of the hate campaign was like layer after layer of hatred and finding reasons to hate Maria for the drama and the trauma that was created. Okay, now part of the hate campaign against me was that people saw my apparition after I died at CB Braganza. Okay, but see, this is the funny thing about racism is that it blinds people. Okay, they never stop to think that the reason why this person came back after they died was because of the trauma that they experienced at the time of their death, the injustices that they dealt with at the time of their death, the uneasiness that these people caused CB Braganza to have these sort of spiritual issues. Okay. But nobody wants to believe that because what these fake Christians did, they painted themselves out to be so wonderful. No, they were not wonderful. But what they did have was they had political power and they had money. And they had the ability to arrange jobs and people were like, oh, I'm going to join this team. That's what it was, okay? A dangerous game on United States soil, okay? CB Braganza was tormented to death. And then they come back in this life. I don't want anything to do with these people. I'm telling you right now, I don't. I don't want anything to do with these people. and I don't want to see their fucking faces. And especially right now, where I'm dealing with my trauma episodes, you best believe I better not go on social media and see your fucking face, because I'm going to turn it off. Okay, because this is the kind of trauma that you've done. You've caused trauma in that life, and you caused it in this life. This is the reason why I'm having these issues. And yes, okay, I am a spiritual person. I am a spiritual person. Do I believe I am of God? Yes, I do. I am a God. I am. I hate to use the word God, and let me tell you the reason why I hate to use the word God. Because God is just a title, okay? God can be spelled like G-O-D with all lowercase, meaning that could be any God. The Bible says there are several different deities, okay? And then when the people talk about the God, the main creator, they capitalize it, but it's still a title. But you know what made me turn off the word, using that word God, is when I grew up having to see the hypocrites use it that way. They would talk about God all the time, and they would bring up God. When every time they wanted to abuse you, they would bring up God, conveniently. And see, this is one of the reasons why, you know, they didn't want to. They wanted a separation of church and state, because this is a common tactic that people fall into. Let's use religion as an excuse to abuse and terrorize people. This is what the Ku Klux Klan used to do. You know, they would burn crosses on people's yard. Don't think that their racist attack, they didn't incorporate religion into all of that. Okay? They did. So anyway, I needed to rant, you guys, because I am dealing with so much frustration, so much trauma, and it needed to come out. Now I have plans for me to do today. Is like I needed to make a 10-minute commercial, because every day I have to work up on my goals, right? And I'm going to say this one more time again. Do not interfere with my work. Do not sit here and try to monitor it and say, well, I'm going to reward her. She does this. Or I stay out of it. Okay? You've done enough damage. Okay? Just clear the internet waves and let me do my thing. Okay? I'm tired of it. Seeing you guys makes me sick. It is what it is. Okay? They know who I'm talking about. And I'm trying to do this as peacefully as I possibly can. This is the reason why I woke up in trauma. Okay? Somebody stole from me. Okay, not just in this life, but in the last life. And then they just and if they did take from me, these evil so-called Christian people did it again. Wicked, evil people. So like I said, I have to be my own therapy. And I do not like to sit here and come on. And I'm not going to post this video on my new channel. I'm just going to post it on Maria Gordon, because to me this qualifies as a rant that unfortunately I had to make because I'm dealing with trauma. Okay, but what I need to see is I need to see improvements in my finances now. Okay, I am not working with anybody. I refuse to work with anybody. I refuse to do anything to even see people until I start accomplishing my goals, which there really is no reason for me not to. Okay, if I am the occult authority and people know it, and there's like cults surrounding me. A lot of people that support me. They're either obstructing it or you stole my money. Okay? And personally, I keep getting the feeling that I did make money. Okay? But anyway, I'm going to wrap up this video. I'm going to just kind of like clear my head a little bit. I needed to think. I needed to say it before I do the next thing. I'm working on a 10-minute video. And the thing is, it's very hard for me to condense anything down to 10 minutes because everybody knows I can talk. I get on something, I can like start talking and describing something, and then all of a sudden I'll think, oh my gosh, that reminds me of the time I did da 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 da. And then this person came in, da, da, da. I can go on and on and on. So yeah, I can talk, okay? Believe it or not. It's just that I have dealt with so much trauma and have dealt with so many people who have been used, who only know how to use forms of manipulation, okay, in order to work with me, get close with me, and take advantage of me. Okay, that's the only sort of tactics and the way that they know how to operate, through manipulation. Okay, and I am terrified of dealing with people. So I am focusing on my shit. I would appreciate it if you stay out of my things. If I want to work with you, I will definitely call you. There's some people who are in my good book, what I call good book, that I've been dying to talk to. Okay, who I was thinking about, creating a section of my my readings, calling it Cabby's Kisses, like my dog Cabby, right? Isn't Cabby cute? He is super cute with his little chubby cheeks. Then I would like do shout outs, and then they would have like a little Cabby kiss. The reason why is because like I remember when I was younger, one of the things that did make me happy is when my mom would take my stuffed animal and have it kiss me on the cheek. That was just like, oh, it's so cute. Anyway, I am incorporating my weird stuff into my life because it's my life and it's my last time on earth. Take care. Wrap this one up. Bye-bye.